We're carrying on the mid-year videos for 2024. I've been doing mini lists, and I'll be doing the best albums and best songs of the year list at some point soon as well. So make sure you're sticking around for those. But in the meantime, make sure you're sticking around for this video, because today we're going to be looking at my most played songs, albums, and artists of 2024 so far. I'm going to be using Last.fm as a tool here because that's usually the most accurate one. I do like Apple Music Replay, and I'll be doing that or some kind of thing with that at some point later in the year, I'm sure. But for now, we're going to be using Last.fm to talk through all my most played music of the year. So if you enjoy this video, make sure you like it, make sure you share it around as well. Subscribe to the channel as well for more content like this and more 2024 videos that'll be on the way soon. And yeah, let's just get on with it. Most played music of the year. Tell me what your most played music of the year in the comments is as well. If you want to send any of it to me over on Twitter or Instagram, follow me on those, and I'll be more than happy to reply and talk through your picks and talk music with you, because I love talking about music. So I'm going to run through the top 50 of each of the songs, albums, and artists, starting with songs. I've apparently scrabbled 8,597 songs this year. Woo! Touch some grass, Ryan, please. You big old virgin. And of course, we got Like That at number one. We got Not Like Us at number 2. And lo and behold, we got Euphoria at number 3. Oh, woo! So yes, of course, the Kendrick Lamar Drake beef really was a massive moment this year that has been inescapable, and it takes up my top 3. Like That being number 1, which isn't the best diss, obviously. It's only the really like the bait. It's like throwing out the bait for them to kind of be like, oh, I'm going to take the bait. Like, that's kind of what Like That is. But as a song, I think it's my favourite song out the whole thing, because you got Future on it sounding at his best. You got Metro Boomin's beat, which is one of the best beats he's ever made for Future. That beat is fantastic. And Kendrick Lamar coming through with that verse as well, which is great. Obviously a little tame comparatively to what we got, but I still think, the wordplay and how he's flowing. I mean, that pops up in my head all the time. Like, it's a great verse regardless of how good and how much better everything that came after it was. So yeah, fantastic song that I've played a lot, obviously. I mean, I say I play a lot. I think my numbers tend to be a lot lower than other people's. I don't really flock to songs obsessively in the way other people do. Like, I'd imagine at the moment some people would share theirs and they'd have songs at like 150, 200. As you can see, my numbers are way lower, way lower. But that for me is a lot. Like, I feel like I still go back to these songs a lot. It's enough for me. I feel like if I play them way too much and I times that number by like 10, I'd feel I'd get bored of it. So we're all different. Our listening habits are different. I personally don't play music in that kind of way, but still, it's my most played song of the year, and it's there for a reason. And Not Like Us, Euphoria, again, 2 and 3. I actually feel like I've heard Euphoria more. I don't know why. I feel that way, but obviously that is a lie, because Not Like Us has been played one time more. But yeah, Euphoria for me is the winner of this beef. Like, that's the one for me. I think Meet the Grahams, depending on what comes out later on, if any of those things turn out to be true, will be the undisputed winner and will be considered one of the greatest diss songs of all time. But I think at the moment we're in a bit of a weird space where some of the things that he said are a little, are literally like, federal charges that would probably send Drake to prison for many years. That's how extreme what he says on that song is. So we can't really keep that song in the same conversation. For me personally, I don't think so. I love Kendrick Lamar. I think he won the beef quite easily. I don't think it was close. I don't care how many of you try and tell me Family Matters is a great song. I will not be gaslit. That is not a great song at all. I am not on board with it, and obviously some of the things that he said have kind of come out to be very false, very unlikely to be true, given that he was claiming, Kendrick was doing things to Whitney and stuff like that. and then, you know, she pops up in the video for Not Like Us. Like, I think we can kind of put Drake aside and go, yeah, he lost that. The things he was saying were bullshit. But Kendrick's still in a bit of an up in the air place with some of the things he said, even on Not Like Us. So that's why, for me, I think Euphoria just stands on its own as being an undisputed king of the whole thing, because the beat switches are amazing, man. I mean, the wordplay, his delivery, it gets stuck in my head all the time. There's so many quotables. Like, that to me is the best diss out of this whole thing. So it probably may end up being my highest song of the year as the year goes on, because I still keep going back to that song. But even still, at the moment, it's number 3. And no hate on Meet the Grahams. I think the beat and that track is fantastic. I just can't go back to that one as much just because of the things that are being said, and it just feels a little odd. And like, is it really true? Is he doing it all for artistic purposes? Because it's Kendrick Lamar, man. He made Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst. Of course, he does things for artistic purposes. So that one sits in its own awkward place for the time being for me. Let me know how you feel about that one, though. Because that's a song that I can't go back to anywhere near as much. I think I played it like 3 or 4 times. That's it. So let me know how you feel about that, because that could be something people don't agree with in the comments. But still, what a moment this year. I mean, how could my top 3 not be songs from this whole thing? It's just incredible. And if Drake put out the quality of songs that Kendrick did, they'd be up here too. But I personally just don't think he did. I just personally don't think he did, okay? But Wagwan Delilah, that'll be Song of the Year. No, let's not even lie. Chapel Roan, what a year she's having. I called it as well. Got to brag. Got to have a little bit of a brag, because I said last year I think she's going to be huge. Didn't think it would happen like this, and it would all happen all at once. But I could see it. I could feel it. I saw something there, and she has gotten the love she deserves, which is great to see, because I probably say a lot that I think artists should be huge or could be huge, and so many of them just don't end up getting that moment. But you've got to hand it to the marketing team and everybody working behind the scenes on this, because they nailed this. I mean, during the time this song came out, she'd just been supporting Olivia Rodrigo, which is huge. Then she did the Coachella performance again, which is a huge thing. Word of mouth spreads, people seeing you live, people taking videos, posting it on social media. That all happens at once. This song comes out. She does an NPR Tiny Desk concert as well during the same time. And then also around the same time, one of the songs from the album starts to get viral on TikTok. It was almost like they were following trends and following statistics or something. There must have been some nerd sat in a room seeing something going on here, and they just thought, do all this now. This all needs to happen now. She needs to drop the song now. She did. It's one of the biggest songs of the year, and she's massive now. So yeah, kind of that 7 points of contact rule really applied to Chapel Roan here during about February, March-ish time, because suddenly everybody started to see her name in different ways, whether it be through YouTube, NPR Tiny Desk, whether it be through seeing her live, whether it be through scrolling on TikTok and seeing the trend of one of the songs. I can't remember which song it was. Somebody might be able to tell me. It might have been Hot to Go. But one of the songs started trending on there at the same time all of this was happening. And the 7 points of contact rule just hit her hard in the face and started to spiral out of control. And we have now like 25 monthly listeners on Spotify, which is ridiculous. I mean, to put it into context, I think that's more than like DJ Khaled or something. I think he's got less than that. And, you know, obviously he's been a big name for a long time now. So, yeah, outrageous, incredibly deserved. It seems like she's sticking around as well. And Good Luck Babe is just awesome. It's a fantastic track. This is why it's so high up for me. I just think it's fantastic. Great song. It's got fantastic vocals. The theme of the song is really interesting as well, I think. The bridge, gotta love a good bridge. Glad to see Bridges making a little bit of a comeback in pop music too. Loving that. Yeah, great song. $1 Million Baby next, a bit higher than I would have thought. It's a really great track though. I have a lot of fun with it. Yeah, not really much to say on that one. I think Tommy Richmond could also stick around in the long run if he kind of nails this. He's got a great vibe to him. It does kind of feel like it's, you know, a vibe, and it might not stick the landing for, you know, mainstream for a long time, but I'm happy with what he's got at the moment. It's obviously very Brent Faiyaz. I like it. It's fun. Motions, Class Beach at 6. I won't talk through every single song, by the way. because I think that would probably just make you all bored. But yeah, this is one of the best rock tracks of the year. I saw The Light by Todd Rundgren. I did see The Light a little bit with his music this year. I really started to get into the album that this one comes from. I always liked it, but I went back to it thinking, let's just give it another go. And my God, it's brilliant. What an album. This is one of the best albums of that year it came out. One of the best albums of that era of kind of glammy rock music. Yeah, it's fantastic. Von Dutch, of course. Trainee Season, a little higher than I would have thought, but it makes the top 10. And Money Trees rounds out the top 10. Just had a bit of a Kendrick buzz this year. There's going to be quite a few Kendrick songs, I'm sure, on this whole top 50. Obviously, the beef is maybe want to go back to his music a little bit more. And of course, this is the one that's one of the highest on the list. We got Zoom from Machine Drum's album with Tinashe. I love that every Machine Drum album just provides like that one song that is just amazing, and this is the one for me. Tinashe's having a great year too in terms of people starting to get back into her music in the mainstream as well. One of the songs, Nasty, has been huge, back in the charts for Tinashe. But yeah, she's actually just been awesome this whole time. So if you just forgot about her or have only been discovering her, like, where have you been? Because this track is fantastic. And also her 2021 album was great too. Yeah, you're just late to the train, I'm afraid, because she's been out here doing it. And this song is probably the best thing she's done this year. And I'm sure there'll be an album out soon as well, so that might not age well, especially if the album's great. But for now, as we're recording this is one of the best things she's done over the past couple of years for sure. We got the 2 Porter Robinson tracks that have come out. Obviously, there was a 3rd single, but these are the 2 that have really stuck with me. Knock Yourself Out, especially, I think is a great track. Of course, Last Dinner Party shows up. We've got Always Getting Breakance pop up. I think he's just going to stick with me for the long run now. You guys may remember that was my album of the year for 2022. And even 2 years later, I'm still playing tracks from that album a lot. Player 2, Jordan Ward. I think he's got something as well. He needs a moment. He needs a moment of virality, because I think he's got something in him to stick the landing for the mainstream. Definitely could be huge. This track is super fun, super playful. Falling Like Dominoes, I want to skip to that one because shout out to David Rowe, who has his own YouTube channel. Doesn't post much at the minute, but he's, still regular, still out here. And we did a little bracket tournament in one of the Discord servers I'm in, and we all had to submit songs that maybe other people hadn't heard before, or maybe were a little more obscure. And he submitted that one in the tournament. It won the whole tournament, and it has stuck with me ever since. What a song. Falling Like Dominoes. So good. All right, let's keep it going. Simulation Storm, Big Thief did my Big Thief Worst to Best earlier this year. If you haven't watched that, please do. So, of course, a lot of tracks ended up popping up here because I was playing their discography quite a bit. Of course, Simulation Swarm is just incredible. More break-ins, as I already told you. A couple of 2023 tracks popping up here, kind of bleeding into this year as well. Anyone, Hemlock Springs, one of the best songs last year, and also one of the best songs last year, in my opinion, as well, was Fam Jam 4000 by Jordan Ward. Another song that I think should have been huge. Canuck Chase, Labby Sifri, amazing track. La da da la da da la da 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 da. Oh yeah, what a song. Eternal will live on forever. Labby Sifri doesn't get the love he really deserves. He doesn't. I'm gonna say it, all right? He doesn't. Okay, Magdalena Bay, Death and Romance. What a track this is. Why am I not seeing enough people talk about this one? They loved Mercurial World, so why are they not mentioning this? Why are you not gassing this up? This is a great song. Absolutely brilliant. I love it. Yeah, fantastic track. Nostalgia, Kendrick Lamar with Pusha T. This is because I did a little short video, you might have seen it pop up, for Kendrick Lamar features and his best ever ones. So I went back to his features, just kind of fell back in love with this track. Always knew it was great. It's so grimy and disgusting. but it is fantastic. And yeah, I just ended up playing it quite a lot because of that. Cinderella, Remy Wolf. I have high hopes for this album. My God. Her last one was good, and it had some great tracks like Anthony Kiedis. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think she might top it. I think she might top that album. I think she's also another artist that has potential to blow up because she just has quite a fun, carefree, laid-back, quirky style, but has a great voice, has a knack for melody as well. Oh my God. Literally 3 tracks in a row from the last... Oh no, 2 tracks in a row. I can't even read. 2 tracks in a row from Last Dinner Party. That at one point was my album of the year. And it still remains to be one of the best of the year, but it has just faded a little bit because some other albums have come out that have been also really good. Got New Magic 1, Birds of a Feather, Billie Eilish. This song really crept up on me. I think this is a really great track. I think Billie nailed it with this one. I think this is up there with her best song ever. I think it might be her best, but, you know, I think there's probably a conversation to be had with a few other songs by her that could be in that talk. But yeah, I think she needs to keep at this level going forward now because it's so good. A lot of Charlie's popped up scrolling through, I'm sure you'll have seen. Nice little run of 2024 tracks here as well. Some really underrated tracks from the year like Modern Woman, Eliza McLam. Not one I've been back to as much as because when it came out right at the start of the year, it was one that I was really kind of stuck with a little bit. But yeah, great little track, nice little indie tune, kind of like in the lane of like, you know, your sort of singer-songwriters like, you know, Phoebe Bridgers, that type of artist. I think you would like this a lot. Freako with Statues, one of the best rock albums of the year and one of the best rock songs, I think, of the year too. And then Baddie on the Floor by Jamie XX. Finally getting an album from him, and this is a great start to the album because this is such a great tune. Okay, hopefully you're still sticking around because that was a little lengthy, but we're looking at the albums now. This year I've scrabbled 1,829 albums. Whoa. Okay, touch some grass, you little virgin, okay? Right, yeah, we're going to look through the most played albums of the year. Cowboy Carter at number 1. I think it's definitely been inflated by the fact that it you know, it has like 1 million songs on it. Kind of weird that is my album of the year just because I do like it a lot. I think it's a very good Beyonce album. But yeah, probably not one I've played from start to finish as much as some of these others. That's kind of the flaw with Last FM because it's only accounting for the times you've played the song. But for something like Brat, which is second with 93 scrabbles, I mean, I've played that album a lot more than Cowboy Carter, but because it has a smaller track list, it looks like I've played Cowboy Carter more. Do you get what I mean? Anyway, that will change the year. By the end of the year, I'll do another one of these videos and you will see that this will look a lot different. And Cowboy Carter may end up like not even in the top 10. Because it is an album I do really like, but I just think in terms of the length, it's a bit of a long one to sit through from start to end. Some of it's a bit cluttered as well, I think, with some tracks that I'm not really as bothered about. But still, don't take it away from Beyonce. She's on a great run right now. Of course, I've just mentioned Bratz. Yeah, definitely the album I played from start to finish the most this year. There is no denying that. And by the end of the year, this will still be right up there. Cold Visions may be a similar case with this one as Cowboy Carter, as that has a huge track list. It's like over an hour long. I liked it. I was considering reviewing it because I do review Blade on this channel and I have had a bit of a turnaround with him. But I kind of started to play it more, and the more I played it, I was losing interest in the album as the album moved on. I just don't think he's the type of artist that should be dropping albums that are that lengthy. So another album, I think, by the end of the year, when I do this list again, do this video again, you will see it out of the top 10. I can guarantee that. Why Lord? No Worries. Absolutely love it. Yeah, just... Anderson .Paak, man, just has a way. And this time around, he's kind of in his emotional bag. Yeah, I'm liking it a lot. The production is amazing. It's immaculate. One of the best albums of the year. Oh, man, there's a few albums I keep saying this about. I need to see this list revamped by the end of the year because We Still Don't Trust You. I did review it. I actually like it more than We Don't Trust You, which is a cursed thing to say around these parts. People weren't allowed to say that, but I do. So it makes sense that it's higher than We Don't Trust You, but again, the lengthy track list, the amount of tracks that's on it has really boosted it into being in the top 5 of the year. This top 5 will look so different by the end of the year. I know I keep saying that, but it really will, because some of these albums are not going to stick with me from right till the end of the year for sure. Prelude to Ecstasy, already mentioned that, great album, one of the best of the year. Melt My Eyes to Your Future, I'm glad I'm here now to talk about this one, because I gave this, I think, a 6 when I first reviewed it. But that has changed. I went back to it. I've really grown to really like what Denzel is doing on that album. I think some of the more like heavy lyrical topics where he's talking about the environment, I'm talking about his surroundings and taking shots at like the American society and American government, I think is really well thought out. It doesn't stick the landing from start to finish, but I think because the production and his rapping is just sounding way more mature than it ever has, I just really grew to love it. I just think it's a fantastic album. I think it's one of the best rap albums of the 2020s, which is bizarre to say that when I first reviewed it, I gave it a 6. So there you go. Opinions really do change. The rest of his top 10 is just full of bangers as well. Plastic Beach, Glass Death. Glass Death? No. Plastic Death, Glass Beach, Ryan. That is what we are talking about. Great album, one of the best indie albums of the year. Thought it got a little bit disrespected. I didn't see enough love for it, but I think it's great. Donuts by Jay Dilla. I mean, do I even have to explain this one? Come on, man. Come on. What an album. And then to round out the top 10, Dark Times, Vince Staples. This will be really high up, I think, as the year goes on too. It's kind of one of the more recent albums. So, you know, it's maybe a bit lower down. I haven't played it as much, but yeah, by the end of the year, oh god, this might be top 5. It's great. As I've mentioned already, Big Thief pops up for the worst to best I did. Great album, that one. Timeless by Kaytranada, another lengthy track list one that's kind of just been really boosted. I thought it was pretty good. Definitely his worst album to date, though. I didn't review it in full, but I did think it was pretty good. Some really fun tracks on there. Monster by Future. This was kind of a protest thing for me, where I was like, I don't like these 2 new albums that much from Future and Metro Boomin. Let's just go back to some real Future, because this is the best stuff right here. And yeah, Monster is just excellent. Submarine by the Marias. Not really been spoken about much this year. I can see why some people might just think it's samey. Meh, whatever, but I think it's great. Block Party Silent Alarm. Had a bit of a renaissance with this one this year too. I think it's a great album. You got Blue Lips, Schoolboy Q, Kali Uchis, We Don't Trust You, a few 2024 albums. Pink Panther S, sticking the landing still. Really sticking with me this one. Even in 2024, I played it quite a bit. It did only come out last year, but yeah. Call Me If You Get Lost, playing a lot of Tyler still. The Challengers, let's skip down to this one, the Challengers soundtrack. What a soundtrack this is. My God, it really sunk into the film in such an imposing way, didn't it? Like, it really takes over a lot of the scenes. It's just like really heavy-handed, which I think could probably annoy some people, but I thought it was utilised really well. And I think listening to it outside of the context of the film, I think it's really good too. I mean, Match Point, what a track that is. That will probably be on my year-end list, you know. That track is fantastic. Been liking some Nujabes this year as well. Of course, we got some stuff that I've played quite a bit from Machine Drum, Quadeca, Ariana Grande. 2024 releases do tend to take up these types of lists for me because I'm just always listening to new music. Flower Boy and Igor land right next to each other, which is quite funny. We got Chelsea Wolfe, Freako, more great albums from 2024 that I've liked a lot. We've got Vultures, one near the bottom here too. That will not be in the top 50 by the end of the year. Will we even get a Vultures 2? Because I feel we've had some talk on it. And yet it just doesn't seem to have come into fruition. We've got Tortured Poets Department right at the bottom here. That will not be in the top 50 by the end of the year. As I have already mentioned, I'm not much of a fan of that one. Radical Optimism, got a bit of an overhate here, I think. I thought it was decent, but yeah, not really stuck with me. I don't think that will be an album that stays with me until the end of the year, really. I'll keep going back to a couple of tracks, but overall, it was just a decent album, let's be honest. Anything else I missed here that's worth talking about? Yeah, I mean, you can see them on screen. Something Anything, Todd Rundgren. Yeah, like I say, had a great time with that album this year. Gone back to it, really had a renaissance with that one too. Now we're at most played artists of the year. I have played 1,664 artists this year, apparently, so far, and we have Tyler right at the top, who was also top of last year. Just really enjoying his discography at the moment, finding it really super replayable. I've really grown to like Igor a lot more too, which you'll be glad to know. My initial review of that was not so positive and got a lot of backlash as well. But yeah, definitely an album I think you do need to sit with. I don't think there's any shame in finding more joy out of it years later, because I don't think it's an album that you can sit with on first listen and completely be blown. Well, you can be, obviously. There would be some people out there that would have been blown away by it. But I think it's one of those albums that's very fair to say that it's not going to stick with everybody after one listen, right? I mean, I didn't just listen to it one time, but the point still stands. You can see how that album would grow on somebody years later, which is the beauty of an album like that. And I think it's great now. I think the theme, the narrative, the concept is super clever, super smart, really feels grounded as well. Like, it's not done in a way that makes you kind of go, oh, this is a bit like, because, it's like a love triangle thing. I think sometimes in media, that type of storyline really puts me off. Like, whenever you see it on like TV shows or films, I think it has to be done in a really good way for it to land. And yet, Tyler did it here and did it in a great way. So you kind of have to respect it. Kendrick at number 2. I think if he drops an album, he will be easily number 1 and will probably stay number 1, especially if the album is great, because that would be great to see. But yeah, for now he's number 2. He's climbing, he's getting close, and yeah, let's see if he does drop an album, because that'll be exciting. Big Thief, I've already told you about my worst to best for them. Obviously love them anyway, so they'll always be there and abouts on my list because I play them quite a bit. Charlie, of course, album this year. Kaytranada, not just a new album. I do keep going back to Bubba. I keep going back to 99.9%. I think these albums have really stood the test of time and are great dance, house, fun, pop releases. And Kaytranada is one of the best around at doing that. Beyonce, of course. Cowboy Carter's probably pushed that up, but also, she's just a really good artist anyway. Future, and then Future and Metro Boomin. Apple Music does the thing where I've noticed this on Spotify, where it doesn't always credit every artist on a song, but Apple Music does. So Future's music is separate to Future and Metro Boomin. So if you were to add these both together, Future is well over 200 listens this year for me, which is kind of mad. Kate Bush at number 9, one of the best. I don't even know if she popped up on any of the other lists, but it just kind of goes to show how much I go back to her just generally, and probably play a variety of her stuff, which has kept her in the top 10 here. Like, I'm not just going back to one song all the time. I'm not just going back to one album all the time. I'm going back to like everything all the time, because her discography is just that good. The job is to round out the top 10. Yeah, kind of had a bit of a growth spurt with Nujabes this year. I've just been wanting to listen to his music late at night. He's a good one to stick on. You don't want to listen to something too heavy. You want to kind of have something to chill you out a bit. Nujabes is the guy. Everything saw them live, so played their music quite a lot this year to get excited for that gig. I got Breakins, who I also saw live, and again, played his music a lot, but I probably will keep playing his music a lot anyway. I think he's just great. The Weeknd is pretty high. But I did do the Weeknd top 10 songs, so that will be why, because he hasn't dropped anything this year. But his numbers are always super impressive. He doesn't have to drop anything to always be like at the top of everything. When you look at like streaming figures and data and stuff, he's got the most monthly listeners. He still has the most played song of all time. Like, the guy is an undisputed hit maker, and I think we need serious conversations about The Weeknd. Because I see some people say, who even likes The Weeknd? Who's a fan of The Weeknd? I've never met anyone that's a fan of The Weeknd. But I don't know. I think he's one of the biggest pop makers of our time, and I think we're not appreciating him in the moment, because I think when we move on in years to come and look back at some of the massive hits he had, then suddenly we'll be like, this guy was something else. No Worries, of course. Vince Staples, of course. I did a top 10 songs of Perfume Genius. Kanye West is popping up here too. I guess just going back to Grad, going back to Late Registration, Yeezus, they're some of my favourite Kanye albums. They'll never really leave my rotation in that sense, as much as I don't really enjoy the person Kanye has become. I don't enjoy the artist Kanye has become at all either. But you can't really let go of the classics, and Kanye will always be one of the best around when it comes to just making classics. Of course. Adrian Lenker, solo. I didn't love her new album as much, but I still go back to Hours Were the Birds. I still go back to songs. Yeah, she's got a really good discography. You can't deny it. Denzel, I've already talked about him. The Beatles, just a classic one that tends to stick around for me. I don't think we've seen any Frank Ocean pop up on any of my lists so far, but again, similar to maybe, well, not similar to Kate Bush. I'm not saying it's the same as Kate Bush, but going back to just all his discography, you know, I think a lot of it just tends to stick. Kali Uchis, Pink Pantheress, Schoolboy Q, Ariana Grande, surprisingly high. I did consider doing a top 10 songs for her, so she would probably jump up if I did a video for that. I wasn't sure how my audience would receive it. Let me know though if you would like to see that video, because I haven't done a top 10 songs for a little while now. She could be the next one if people want to see it. I wouldn't mind that. I think she's got enough songs to create a top 10 songs list. Enough good songs for sure, I would say. Caroline Polachek, again, hasn't popped up so far, but you can't deny her discography. She's got really strong stuff. Little Sims, again, not popped up on any of the others so far, but going back to Simbi quite a bit. Grey Area, still really good too. You can't dispute some of the albums she's put out, man. She's got a really strong discography. Stevie Wonder, one of the all-timers. David Bowie, one of the all-timers. Jane Dawson, really strong airtight discography so far. I think he is somebody that should be much bigger than he is. Hemlock Springs, and then right near the bottom is Casey Musgraves and Taylor Swift, who are just clinging on because they did drop albums this year. But probably by the end of the year, I don't see them in the top 50. I don't go back to their music enough, even though I do have albums by both of them that I really like, but their most recent stuff has kind of, soured my view of them a little bit. A little bit, not massively, but just a little bit. Okay then, we'll leave it there, I guess. We've gone into quite a bit of detail about these artists, these albums, these songs. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What's your most played stuff of the year? We'd love to see that. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it, stick around for more content as well. Loads of 2024 videos throughout the course of July will be popping up. So we'll be doing other best rap albums of the year, no doubt. We might do a best rock albums of the year as well, maybe other genres if people would like to see that. Would love to see any suggestions in the comments. And of course, we'll be doing an overall best albums of the year so far, all genres, and then best songs of the year so far, all genres too. So if you would like to see those videos, please make sure you are subscribed, and check out my Patreon if you're feeling very generous, because you can support me over on there if you would like to. It's up to you. Have a good day, and goodbye.